Okay, so we are talking about hacking job interviews for professionals and all the modern techniques to land your next role with confidence. I'm going to go over the rules to be respectful in the chat and to feel free to write your questions, but they will be entertained at the Q&A session after the presentation. You have all of our information and you will receive a free copy of this webinar. If you are not live with me right now, please send me an email and I can send it to you personally because you will need to go over some information when you actually go to your job interview. So I want you to have a copy of it. I think it's important. These are the topics that we are going to talk about. We're going to talk about your mindset as a job seeker, the psychology of job interviews, and we're going to refer to how to tackle some of these questions that you may get. Like, for example, your strengths, your weaknesses, how to talk about money, talk about your salary, and of course, the body language and how to follow up after interviews. Okay, you already know me and you can read my description, but I'm a translator, linguist, and professor with over 20 years of experience. I've worked with individuals who face anxiety and nerves and lack of confidence during public speaking. Public speaking is also like a job interview is also kind of public speaking. So you always have to overcome linguistic barriers, gain confidence. So I really like um, to teach you my strategies and to teach you how to stand out in interviews and secure your job. Number one is the introduction, and this is a job seeker's reality and mindset. So, when you're facing rejections or long job searches, you get these feelings that we are going to go over now, and what to do with inaction from companies. We will talk about who you are surrounded with, which is very important, and the importance of maintaining a growth mindset. So the job seeker's feelings go from being emotionally exhausted and super tired to facing a lot of rejections, not hearing back from companies, and doubting yourselves, which is the worst because when you have this feeling of self doubt, you may have a sense of failure. And this emotional toll can really make you frustrated, anxious, and depressed. So, what can we do to maintain a growth mindset? We have to see each challenge or rejection as an opportunity to grow. So, you want to embrace your setbacks as learning opportunities and reframe your rejections as part of the journey toward growth. So instead of viewing them as personal failures, you will try to reframe these rejections. This is I come here and this is a continuum and I'm going to go up the ladder. It's going to take some time. So if I'm here, there will be some rejections. You have to ask yourself the right questions. For example, what can I learn from this experience? And how can I improve for the next opportunity? You have to be constructive instead of frustrated. If you're constructive, you get a shift in perspective that helps you take constructive action instead of becoming discouraged. So when you become more positive and you see that this is a journey, you are being constructive. Now, we will focus on what you can control. So, I will teach you how to focus on the things that you can really control. For example, the way you dress is something you can control because you can choose all the different clothes you want to wear for a certain interview. You cannot control whether you will get the job or not. You can control how to introduce yourself, how to be prepared, how to present yourself in interviews, how to respond to feedback, how you react to certain questions. Um, you have to focus on constant improvement. So you keep an open mind to refining your approach. What can you do better? What skills are you lacking? What skills um, do you not have and you need to acquire? You will celebrate small wins and always move forward. You celebrate the small victories, whether it is improving your resume, getting an interview callback, learning a new software during the process, going to second or third interview. This is what you want to celebrate. Now, some solutions for managing job search frustration and anxiety to maintain your mental well being and to boost your chances of success. So, the structured job search plan talks about creating a routine because looking for a job is a job in itself. So, you want to treat job searching like a structured activity. So, you set daily or weekly goals. This could include, for example, sending out a specific number of applications, scheduling networking calls with different people, updating your resume to match a job search. You also want to take breaks, which is very important to avoid burnouts. And I'm talking from experience, of course. So you want to avoid those moments when you feel that you have burned out, that you are like you don't know your name. So, you want to schedule breaks during your day and take mental health days like a day off to go play football with your friends, things like that. So, you step away, and this can actually help you return to the search with a clearer mind. Now, feedback loop and self reflection means that you will be self critical. You will seek feedback. So, after interviews, you ask for feedback from the hiring manager or the recruiter. You will use that information to improve your responses and approach in future interviews. You reflect on each interview. After each interview, you have to write down certain things that you did well. You take 5 minutes to jot down things that you could improve so you can spot the patterns in your performance and you can grow with each experience. Now, for the skill building and continuous learning, you have to upskill yourself. You have to use this downtime between job applications to learn new skills. This is important. This is something you have to do that is relevant for to your career because online courses, certifications, or even improving soft skills like communication can be really, really the difference, can make the difference. So, for example, public speaking. We were teaching public speaking 2 weeks ago, and some people were present, and some others sent me messages that they, wrote comments. It was really nice because this is something that you can write on your resume. All these webinars that you are taking, you should write them on your resume. Public speaking, we studied some business vocabulary last week. We are studying a lot of skills related to soft skills like communication. So you can write that on your resume too. You're upskilling yourself. You have to be prepared for future opportunities. So you always should stay ready. Even if you didn't get the job that you wanted, learning the new skills or improving your interview performance will help you stay ready for the next opportunity. Now you have to stay connected and network so you can expand your network. So you reach out to former colleagues, you attend industry related webinars, connect with people on LinkedIn, come to my webinars, and you are networking by doing that. Networking opens new doors, gives you access to job opportunities that may not be advertised. So when you talk to people and they know about a job, they will tell you. That's important too. And of course, finding a support group. So surround yourself with friends, with colleagues, with ex former colleagues, with your family, other job seekers, because you can share your feelings. You can talk about frustration and they will understand you. And you can really gain valuable insights from other people going through the same process. You have to stay positive. You have to focus on mental health. You really need your health back. So, with positive affirmations, for example, this practice of daily affirmations or positive self talk to counter feelings of inadequacy, or to remind yourself that the right opportunity is coming, that each step is progress, part of progress. Mindfulness and relaxation are two techniques that you can use. They reduce stress and they can significantly improve your performance. What I try to use is more the relaxation technique before public speaking, for example. So before public speaking, I try to stretch my body, I try to work on my voice, I actually drink some hot mates before my webinars because I work my voice so I can improve my performance. And this is something you can do too. Now, talking about your circle of trust, you have to evaluate the people that you spend time with. The positive influence. This is what you want. Being around people who are supportive, optimistic, and proactive can energize you. They can remind you of your strengths, encourage you to keep going, and share strategies that could help you succeed. So, positive energy is contagious, and surrounding yourself with the right people can boost your confidence and keep you motivated. This is something my students usually don't think about. Okay, they surround themselves with people who are kind of negative, and I always tell them to keep a positive influence around them when they are looking for the right job. Learning from new role models refers to being surrounded by people who are successful and inspiring. Um, Maybe you can also see that if someone's career is inspiring to you, you can really talk to this person. You can observe how they handle challenges. They can provide valuable insights. You might discover new ways to improve your resume, or you can prepare for interviews just by watching other people who were successful. What did they do? So you can really understand what they are doing well and replicate it. Now, taking temporary work while searching for the right job is something that I really wanted to mention, especially for developing countries. It can take a while to get the right job that you want. So, this is a good piece of advice I received myself when I was younger. You will get just those odd jobs to maintain your dignity and self worth. This is always seen as a strategic step. It's not a failure, it helps you provide for yourself, for your family, while keeping your dignity intact and your morale high. And this is a temporary solution. It's not the end goal. Your end goal is to get your long term career. So remember, this is just a short term step. You will keep your eyes open to that career that you want. So you have a main objective, but this is just temporary. You will relieve your financial pressure. So taking a temporary or a job can provide immediate income, helping reduce financial stress during your long term job search. So, if you have to buy new shirts for those interviews, you will have the resources to do it, for example. And of course, the most important part is that it will reduce your anxiety and it will keep you active and focused. So, having work, even if it is not the ideal role, It will help you stay busy, maintain your routine, and lower your anxiety. Now, tailored support and guidance. So, job coaching or mentorship. Sometimes professional guidance can make all the difference. So, working with a job coach or mentor can really review a lot of things that you make mistakes with applications, for example, the CV. Proofreading your CV, checking if things are logically inserted, conduct a mock interview, provide feedback, that can help you sharpen your approach. You can take interview lessons. We offer them. So if you're interested, you can take my interview coaching program. This is designed to offer personalized feedback and strategies to help you feel confident and prepared for your next interview. We do offer a 15% off our private lessons and workshops. So if you want to take this course, you just send us a message. This is valid until November 11th, so hurry up. And we continue with a question for the chat. What is one lesson that you have learned from a previous rejection or a previous setback in your job search? Something that you learned from a rejection. You can write in the chat about that. Number two, we're going to refer to the psychology of job interviews. We'll go with confidence versus anxiety. If we reduce perfection, if we become more imperfect, like I referred to this during our first webinar, remember that I talked about being imperfect a bit because we were born with perfection, some of us, and we have to reduce anxiety that we generate when we are seeking for this perfection. So, if you reduce perfection, you will boost your confidence. We will see how to deal with past failures and how to focus on what you can bring to the table now. So, why confidence matters more than perfection? Um, what hiring managers are looking for. Hiring managers aren't necessarily looking for the perfect candidates. They want people who can talk, they want people who can communicate effectively, people who can handle pressure. So, the soft skills like communication and confidence are more important than technical skills. Because technical skills are usually learned in a week, but communication and confidence is something that you will develop over time. And why confidence matters over perfection? Confidence shows that you are capable, that you are adaptable. Even if you make minor mistakes, it's more about demonstrating that you can think critically, that you can solve problems, and convey your ideas clearly. Some of the techniques to manage interview anxiety and maintain composure. We mentioned the mock interviews that you have with me or my team if you want. It's something like it's a coaching service where you are asked some questions with your mentor and we can answer, give you like mock answers. The breathing techniques is to use deep breathing exercises before the interview. I do it. I do it all the time. And this immediately reduces the stress levels. Visualize success. If you picture yourself doing well in the interview to shift your mindset from fear to expectation of success, this is a positive growth mindset we are looking for. So focus on what you can bring to the table, not on past failures. If you shift your focus to strengths, to your unique skills or experiences, then you will see the change. You can add value to the role, and employers want to know how you can help their company. What is this value that you can bring? So it is essential to highlight your strengths and your successes. We will see later on. Leverage lessons learned. This is also about being self critical. If you face rejections, then try to view them as learning experiences. Ask for feedback when possible. Ask your teachers for feedback all the time. That's what you want because you can really refine and improve your interview skills. Every interview is an opportunity to learn and grow. So you will go to interviews that you don't need, that are for maybe not the right, exactly the right position, just because you have to practice. So my piece of advice is say yes to every interview that you are offered. See it as a way to really focus on refining your skills. Now, this question, I want to know if you agree that confidence and not perfection is what impresses the interviewees the most. So, if you think that confidence and not perfection is what impresses them, just tell me if you agree with me and I will read it at the end. Now, number three are these common questions that I mentioned, and we will see some practical responses to stand out. Tell me about yourself. So, in this section, you will explore how to craft your personal story. For the tell me about yourself question, highlighting your relevant skills and achievements. Well, the first example that I wrote is a marketing manager called Maria. She talks about I've been working in digital marketing. She mentions the years, how she specialized in something. She talks about her last role and how she's excited about the opportunity. This is a very positive way to introduce yourself. Number two is a software developer and called Daniel. I know one. And he says, I'm eager to contribute my technical skills. So you are giving them something to make the position better, the role better. For the HR specialist, this person is named Anna. And she says that she's passionate about creating positive workplace culture. So she's talking about soft skills. So you always give the number of years of experience, but you will mention at the end, you will mention something positive. Why do you want to leave your current job? In this section, we'll explore effective ways to answer this question without sounding negative, without sounding defensive. For the finance analyst, okay, he says, I'm looking for new challenges. This position offers the opportunity to grow. So you see, it's a very positive way to talk about um, something that you are doing, that is leaving a job for another. The marketing specialist says, I'm ready to work in a more dynamic environment. So this is a good excuse. And I see this role as a chance to. This is a very good way to explain why you are changing. The software engineer number three says that I'm looking to transition into a role that allows me to work with more cutting edge technologies. I can contribute effectively. This is a very positive way. You will get a copy of this, so don't worry about reading it all. I want to know what's the toughest interview question that you faced and how did you handle it? The toughest means the most embarrassing, difficult kind of question. I should remember mine. One number four, how to highlight your strengths and handle gaps or job changes. Always stay confident and professional. Employers want to see how your experience aligns with their needs, but they also look for honesty. They look for confidence. So let's see how we can deal with this. What are your greatest strengths? You want to emphasize your skills, your attention to detail, like the data analyst, your accuracy, reliable outcomes. The marketing manager talks about developing data driven strategies, increase lead generation, how to drive success. So it's all positive things because this is your greatest strengths. You have to be very positive too. So, communication, resolving conflicts for customer support specialists. This is very, very important, critical, vital. 95% customer satisfaction rate. This is something you can mention, numbers. Can you explain the gap in your employment history? So when there is a gap, it happened to me before. There was this gap when I was like changing careers, from one thing to another. There was a gap where I was not working. I was doing some family stuff. This kind of thing has to be explained. They want to know what happened. So for a marketing specialist, they said to take care of to care for a family member, to take care of something like a family issue, staying updated on industry trends. The project manager says to focus on professional development, how he got new tools, new techniques to develop, like acquire new skill. A graphic designer says to explore freelance opportunities to build his portfolio. This is important if you're maybe for careers that are like designers, this kind of this kind of career is important to build a portfolio for photographers, for graphic designers. This, of course, something you have to do. So this is something you explain and is understood right away. No one will question that. Why have you changed jobs so frequently? In this section, we will explore how to craft your answers, again, professionally and with confidence. So, changing jobs frequently. Okay, I was focused on finding the right fit. Now I'm seeking stability. So, you have changed. You were unstable, now you want to be stable. The software developer says, I've been fortunate to work on various exciting projects, but now I'm looking for a position where I can apply all of the experience and build something long term. Um, a desire to expand my skill set, a more strategic way. So you see, in a positive way, I'm telling them why I changed so frequently. How would you explain a gap in your resume? What would you say? What skills or experiences did you gain during that time? You can write in the chat. Let's go to our number 5. Let me check my manager. Navigating tough questions, salary, weaknesses, and conflict. So sometimes you have really tough questions, talking about money, talking about your weaknesses, and talking about conflict with other coworkers is really difficult to address. So we want to be honest. We want to maintain confidence. This is what we want. So, what are your salary expectations? Here, you're going to talk about money in a professional way. You're going to provide a range, not an exact number. It's very important. So, the human resources manager talks about the yearly salary, looking for a salary range of 60,000 to 65,000. Well, depending on the compensation package, on the benefits, on the perks, you can say that you are flexible, but you give a number. So I would expect a salary in the range of 90,000 to 100,000. Of course, I'm open to discussing specifics like benefits and perks. I would expect a range of, okay, 50,000, 55,000. I'm open to negotiation, depending on the benefits, the growth opportunities. So you can mention very positive things that the company can give you apart from the money. What's your biggest weakness? I prepared 6 answers for this one because people have asked me to prepare more answers because this is like their weakness is to talk about weaknesses, if you understand what I mean. So you can say what you have learned after presenting the weakness. I tend to take on too much responsibility, but I've learned this. I can be overly detail oriented, but this has helped me to be more efficient. I used to, public speaking used to be a challenge. Now I see it as a strength. So you can turn all these weaknesses into very positive kinds of growing opportunities. Number four is an accountant that says that they tend to be over meticulous. However, I've learned to balance this. I used to struggle with delegation, but I've since worked on trusting my team more. So you see the negative positive kind of shift. I've always been more of a hands on learner. Now I can adapt. To improve, I've done this. So you can see how this is the shift that you need. How do you handle conflict in the workplace? Very important question. I believe addressing conflict directly but calmly. I once facilitated a meeting. I could find a solution. You talk about all the things that you've done well. I try to focus on the issue rather than the individuals. I believe in listening first. So you are talking about your soft skills here and how you can have a proactive attitude. Don't forget that I will give you a copy of this. So, what is one weakness that you've turned into a strength? And how would you explain that in an interview? You can write in the chat if you want about one of your weaknesses. It's usually attention to detail, being too perfectionist. See which one is yours. Number six is the importance of body language and the communication skills. And you see the picture. What can you see in the picture? The picture is like, of course, it's not the right way to sit for an interview. And nowadays, we talk about interviews as being either online, in person, or hybrid. So I will teach you the strategies for body language for both because I don't know if you're going to go in person or not. So let's see the most updated strategies to enhance your body language. Perfecting eye contact, like this picture, you can see that she is focused on looking at the other person, not staring, but looking. You maintain eye contact, and this is crucial for conveying confidence and sincerity. For a virtual setting, you will look directly into the camera. I will teach you later when I stop the share screen. This creates the illusion of the eye contact with the interviewer. For the in person, you will maintain steady eye contact. You are not going to stare, and you briefly can look away like I do all the time to collect my thoughts and come back to the person. But of course, you always return to eye contact when responding to important questions. Regarding open body language, you always have to be open. You see this girl, I would like to talk to her. She looks open, right? She looks smiley and open. So this is what you want. You want to sit up straight if this is a virtual call. You want to keep your shoulders relaxed but not up, just back. And during this virtual call, you want to ensure that your hands are visible. Maybe not all the time, you can rest them in the lap, but most of the time you want them to be visible. For an in person setting, you will avoid crossing your arms or legs because this can be a sign of defensiveness. You will sit with your feet firmly planted on the floor because they can see your feet in this case. And your hands can be placed naturally on your lap, on the table. Now, referring to effective gestures, nowadays nonverbal cues such as hand gestures play a key role in helping you articulate your ideas more clearly. So, for a virtual setting, showing clarity in your explanation, you can use your hands, like this guy may be counting, I guess. So for a multi-step process, you can count, or for an in-person setting, to give a sense of expansion, you can use your hands like something has rocketed some numbers. And regarding the tone and pace of speech, try not to make people sleep. Of course, you shouldn't go hurry. So your tone of voice, how you pace your speech can greatly impact how your message is received. Nowadays, Hiring managers are looking for candidates who can communicate their ideas clearly and with energy. They don't want people who are like zombies. You want to have some energy, please. For a virtual setting, in video interviews, of course, you will speak at a moderate pace with very tone. When talking about achievements, you can raise your tone because it's a virtual meeting. It's difficult to give it like some energy. So, with your tone, you can give it more energy. You can convey more enthusiasm. For the in person setting, you will ensure that your tone reflects your passion and that your pace is steady. So you avoid speaking too quickly as it can make you feel like seem nervous. Like this girl, she seems collected. Now, for managing facial expressions, it is important to keep your expressions positive and aligned with what you are saying, especially in virtual interviews. Um, because facial cues are more noticeable. So I can see this guy and I can see that he is smiling. He may nod sometimes, and the expressions seem to be calm, anyways. It's not faking it, it's real. For an in person setting, you can smile or show your genuine enthusiasm when discussing your achievements, for example, or you can show excitement about the role. But always, of course, be collected. And controlling your nervous habits, we can see the glass of water. I don't have my water here, but if I had, of course, sometimes I would be drinking, okay? Don't forget your water like I did today. It may happen. Nowadays, candidates are still often judged by their ability to remain composed under pressure. So the interview will be like an excuse to see how you react to certain questions and situations. So controlling your nervous habits. So fidgeting, like moving all the time, or tapping, or avoiding eye contact. This is essential that you don't do that. Don't fidget, don't tap, and don't avoid eye contact. Make eye contact. So, for a virtual setting, you can maybe breathe deeply if you see that you are getting nervous. And for an in person setting, maybe you can take a small sip of water to stay calm. This is a question I have for you. What's one body language habit that you would like to improve, to change for the next interview? And the final tips, how to stand out and follow up. This is important. What are we going to do 24 hours after our interview? So I created 5 scenarios so that you can see real examples. I will give you and send you a copy of this. Not a printed copy, it's like a PDF that you can print at home if you want, or you can see it again. You can rewatch it on YouTube. So for the first scenario, this is Anna, a marketing manager. She completed an interview for a position at a large corporation. The interview went well, but she wanted to reinforce her interest and keep her candidacy top of mind. So after 24 hours, she sent this thank you email to the hiring manager, focusing on a key topic that they discussed during the interview. So there is this connection with what you talked about during the interview and what you mentioned in the email. So the outcome was that she got a second interview invitation a week later. You may get this kind of outcomes. For a startup interview, the software engineer interviewed at a fast paced startup. The interview was intense and he wanted to show his enthusiasm. So, a day after, he sent a thank you email to the Chief Technology Officer CTO and he referenced a key challenge that the company was facing that was discussed during the interview. And then what happened is that he was offered the role after a second round of interviews because this email highlighted his ability to think critically and also because he offered like a solution that was beyond the interview. For a delayed response, there is an initial timeline for feedback that is usually 1 or 2 weeks. When the 2 weeks are gone, you may want to send a follow up email like Laura, an HR specialist. What did she get from this follow up email? She received an offer. First, she received an update and then she received the offer. For a sales interview, we have this case of Javier. He's a sales executive. He interviewed for a senior role and he had an engaging conversation with the hiring manager. He wanted to use this follow up to highlight a skill. So within 24 hours, he referenced a specific client success story that he discussed during the interview and he tied it back to the company's sales approach. And this personalized kind of email or thank you note can create very positive things. This resonated with the hiring manager, and he received a positive feedback within a week. And this positive feedback led to a job offer. For a follow up with additional value, you want to reinforce your interest and provide additional value. For example, we have Sophia, product designer, and after the interview, she waited for 24 hours and she sent a thank you email with a follow up attachment showcasing a design case study that matched the company's project needs. So, something related to the company. Then she was called back for a second interview where her portfolio was discussed in more detail. What are you generating? You are generating interest, which is very important for a job interview. So, have you ever followed up after an interview and what did you include in your thank you email? You can write about it, or you can also write in the comments if you are watching this recorded version. Now, let's see some of these questions that you have. Thank you for joining, and you have our personal information if you want to take advantage of our private lessons and workshops. So, I'm going to present my team now. This is me, the academic director, and this is Leo, the sales manager, and we have a lot of teachers and coaches to help you succeed. And I'm going to stop my screen and see you now. Okay, so I'm going to read some of your questions. A lot of people were connected to the other 15-minute workshop that I gave before this one, but they had to disconnect. So let's see, we had a technical issue. So, okay. I'll see you. I think it's always tough to answer why you left your previous job. You need to be careful not to talk bad about your previous job, or your interviewer might reflect your opinion. Yes, on their company. Yes, this happens to a lot of people that they go and speak bad things about their previous employer. And of course, that new employer is going to think about what you bring to the table. If this is a maybe criticism, then they are going to think that you are going to criticize them after. So for sure, you have to keep this positive attitude. You have to keep this attitude where they can see that you can just solve problems, that you can get something positive from others, so that this positive attitude can get you that job that you wanted. So I'm going to be reading questions after you watch the rest of the recorded version, because we unfortunately had some technical issues today, maybe because of the storm, I guess. So I'm going to read your comments after, and thank you all for connecting and for those who are watching this recorded. I know that you send me messages from all over the world, and it's really nice to read your messages. I just want to say that about this topic, I am with you. I am definitely with you. I've had a lot of difficult moments with job interviews in the past when I was younger. And I really wish I had someone with me at all times when I was looking for jobs. I had good friends, but nothing like a mentor at that time. So if you want a mentor, I can be that person definitely. So thank you for being there, for your questions, and I will continue offline. Thank you so much.